So here we are today at a public library, and I know what you're thinking. Ben, haven't you read all the books there already? Of course I have, but that's not why we're here. My producers have given me a stack.
Ben Shapiro explains politics to kids. Awesome. Bro, it's so interesting because people, probably like Ben, would be really against, like, let's say drag queens, for instance, teaching reading stories to kids because of their trans agenda. But like I'm equally afraid of my kid getting political advice from Ben Shapiro. You know? Personally, if you want to expose your kid to fucking weirdos on the internet, be my guest. But like Ben, come on. You know. Your ideology is also harmful. You know what I'm saying? So, who's worse, Ben Shapiro or the trans agenda? I'm just kidding. There's no trans agenda. But you get my point. Anyway, who cares? Let's watch.
Pack of cards. They have a bunch of terms on them having to do with the government. I have to explain these to very, very small children in a fashion that kids can understand. So we'll find out how this is going to go. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Conservakids.
Bro, that's scary. I mean, you do you. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Ben Shapiro?
Wow, you're very well-behaved children.
I thought he was going to sit there and be like, "You're really tall for kids," because he's like 3 foot tall.
All right, so I'm supposed to teach you about things today. So get ready.
Yay.
I'm ready.
Yay.
I've seen my mom look at him on Facebook. She said he was a very smart guy.
He is a very smart guy, but
do you think he is?
Well, now that I've met him, maybe.
Freedom. Okay, freedom.
Definition?
Oh yeah, give me a definition. Go for it.
America.
Definition of freedom is America.
Nice.
Okay,
there you go. Definition of freedom is America, baby. That's fucking awesome. That's what my kid's gonna say, and then he's gonna pull out his Second Amendment right. Probably not the best setting to pull it out, but anyway, because you shouldn't do that in a school.
That's actually okay. I kind of like that. I'm with you. America. Okay, so
America.
Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to make good choices and have those pay off.
Let's see what freedom is. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's such a common word that I didn't even think to define it. The power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Well, we can't be purely free, right? Because then our choices, if they have, like I can't go out and drive a car into a person because that would obviously hinder their ability. So it's really just leveraging freedoms against a society. So you could do things, you could do whatever you want as long as it doesn't really have a negative impact on society. Unless you're rich, then you could do whatever you want. You could absolutely destroy the middle class and the lower class. But yeah.
A lot of people kind of think that freedom is you get to do what you want. So if you want to run into a tree, that's freedom.
Eat.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you could do that.
Exactly. You shouldn't eat people like that. You don't have freedom to eat people. Cannibalism is bad.
I forgot what that's called.
Cannibalism?
It's called cannibalism.
My mom and dad told me I was gonna meet Ben Shapiro.
And did you know who he was?
Nope.
Government. Okay, so who has an idea about government?
Okay.
Go for it.
I don't.
Government is what takes all of your money and gives you very little in return.
That is not true.
Okay, that's kind of true. It depends on the kind of government.
Taxes are for.
Yeah, that is what taxes are for, but taxes are theft, children. The reality.
It's a little ironic that he was just talking about how it's like, oh, freedom, you can't do whatever you want in freedom. He was basically making a point about how you can't hit another person. Ben Shapiro would agree with that. So there's certain concessions you have to make. One of those concessions is taxes. Now, do I think that the government uses the taxes perfectly? No. I think we have a lot of problems with the government pandering to the rich people for the most part and just doing whatever the fuck they want. But taxes fundamentally are necessary. Like, they take a lot of your taxes out, and then but you do benefit from it. I just think it's in ways people don't understand. You have a police force in case somebody does a baddie, does a no. You have a fire department in case your house goes on fire. We have like male men and women, male people. We have fucking roads, which are very important. Road upkeep. When it just snowed out here, they plow the roads. There's a lot of different. We have schools, right? We have a lot of things that taxes pay for. Yeah, even welfare. Whether you like it or not, welfare is a positive thing. I think we need to reform welfare. Everybody in the chat is screaming UBI. Yes, I think UBI would be a better reformation of welfare system. That's a different conversation. However, welfare still keeps money going through the economy, right? So, I mean, listen, this is like fucking 101 here, but let's say you have 100 people, you got 100 individuals, right? You got 100 of these people, right? And they all do various jobs. Some of them sell porn. We shouldn't use that one. Let's say this. They have various jobs. Okay. And they take that money, right? They have 100 people, they have different jobs. Everybody has a different jobs. And they're going to take their money and they're going to spend it. That's mostly what middle class people do. It's one of the reasons why we shouldn't have wealth hoarding, because it takes money out of the economy and people can't spend it. And it doesn't get redistributed. So let's say you make like $50,000 a year, right? And then you pay your taxes, so whatever. Let's say you have 35 after that. And then let's say like you spend most of this on living. Like you spend it on like a house, or like a living space. You spend it on food. You spend it on porn, right? You spend it on all these different things. You're paying somebody, when it comes to the house, you're really just paying banks. But whatever. You're still employing bankers when you're paying for your house. For food, you're employing truck drivers, like cashiers, any creator of the good, like the fucking farmers, whatever. You get my point. And when it do porn, you're supporting OnlyFans girls. You know what I'm saying? If 10 people lost their job tomorrow, that's 10 people that have less money to spend in these areas, right? So if you had 100 people doing $50,000 a year, then that's, what is that? Fucking whatever, 5 million. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So then you lose 10% of the amount of money that's going through the economy. We can't have that, because it would have a really bad domino effect. So you implement welfare so that people still have the money to eat and consume pornography and live in a house. This way, it's not only for the person on welfare, it's also to maintain the infrastructure that is required, that we've gotten used to. Because like if 10% of your population just loses their job tomorrow with no pitfall, with nothing to stop them from being fucking devastated, more people are just going to continuously lose their jobs, because there's less people spending money on food or housing or other commodity goods or this or that. You know what I mean? Like Squishmallows. The Squishmallow people would die. They wouldn't have any. I spend a lot of money on Squishmallows, right? So that's why welfare is good. I think it could be reformed, because I don't think it's good enough, but you get my point.
Reality is that government is necessary.
Was I making a point there of like, oh, we need welfare, it's very beneficial? You get my point.
So that people don't hurt each other, so that people don't murder each other. Right, so people don't eat people. That's right.
Yes.
You do need a government to prevent people from eating people. The Constitution. Who knows something about the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so the Constitution. Okay, the Constitution is the document
It's that thing I get when I eat too much cheese.
that lays out the list of rules for what the government can do and what the government cannot do. So the Declaration of Independence is 1776. So right as we're founding the country, right as the founding fathers are founding the country in the Revolutionary War, we fought a war against Great Britain in 1776.
Okay, maybe you do know a lot.
What was that?
Okay, maybe you do know a lot.
I feel like listen, a lot of the specifics are lost to most of us, because who gives a shit? But like, I feel like this isn't really knowing a lot. He's just kind of giving us like a baseline of like how the Constitution was born and how America was born, which these kids will learn next year.
Fast.
Yeah, I do talk
very
fast. But you guys can keep up. You're young.
I do run pretty fast.
I'm sure you do.
Nice.
I run super
Let me tell you, I don't worry about talking too fast with kids, because my kids wipe me out. My kids tire me out. Okay, the president.
Well, Ben, it's because you're a kid yourself, bro. That's mean. I'm insulting short kings too much today.
Oh.
Okay.
What did he just flash?
Because my kids wipe me
What did you just flash the kids with, Ben?
out. My kids tire me out. Okay, the president.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
Who knows who the
Biden.
president is right now?
Obviously Donald Trump. Joe Biden is not my president. Okay. Hey, let us go, Brandon. You've kept us in the basement for too long. You get the rest. I'm not going to write it out because I have horrible penmanship. Let's go, Brandon.
Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Joe
That's
Biden.
right.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
That kid has his hair done in a similar style to Ben Shapiro, the one that agrees with him.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately, Joe.
Looks like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Biden. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Trump.
Yeah.
He is the best. He was better.
Why do these kids think that? I guess this is all a fucking classroom of conservatives. Where the fuck is it? Were you in Florida? What the fuck?
Don't insult the president because he will come and attack you.
Whoa.
Hey now.
What is happening?
Yeah, he's way off base about that.
Taxes.
About the president? What is he off base about? The president being Joe Biden? I'm confused. Taxes.
Okay, do you guys like taxes?
Taxes are fees that you have to pay for your houses.
Well, yeah, it's not, there is.
And air conditioning and solar.
Right, yeah.
I'm a little confused.
You have to pay taxes on like everything.
Yeah,
Like, everything.
like
Except
electricity.
not on your income in Florida, because Florida's amazing. Right.
Oh, bro, how the fuck did I guess it? What did I just say? Where the fuck are they? Conservative kids. Where the fuck are they? Florida? Then he's like, hey, you don't have to pay for it in Florida. These motherfuckers are in Florida. I knew it. How the fuck did I know?
So, taxes are the government takes a part of the money that you spend, or the money that you earn, or the property value of your house.
On useless stuff. What about debt?
Mostly, yes. I mean, they're supposed to spend it on things like the police. They're not supposed to spend it on just random projects or silly things that they have.
I feel like most of our taxes go to the right thing, right? Let's see. What's our tax breakdown look like from 2021? Tax break. What would you say? Tax spending? I think there's a word for it that I'm not thinking. 2021. Let's look at that. Let's see what we spent money on. Oh, budget. Tax budget. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm so dumb. Let's see. What's the 2021 budget? I just want a simple chart, colors, something that's very easy for me to understand because I'm very stupid. Okay. All right, that's not. Bro, this should be so easy. 2021 budget. Congressional budget. Is this going to work out? Okay, we're just not having a good time here. Here we go. I think this is 2020. Yeah, it's mostly like welfare services, I think. What the fuck's happening right now? That was weird. I think it's mostly welfare services, right? So you got this feels like it's not right. I don't know. You got Medicare, Medicaid, like whatever, Social Security. Why do I feel like this isn't like right? Is that defense funding? I feel like we spent a lot more than 12, 15%. Anyway.
They have in their head, and they tend to spend it on kind of silly things very often. But as you get older, you will realize how little you like taxes. Taxes are very, very annoying.
Especially as a rich person that has tons of disposable income, you're going to be really upset about how much taxes you have to pay.
Alrighty, let's see what else.
Yeah.
Quantitative easing.
What?
Wow, who put this one in here?
What is that?
All right, are we really going to do
Who's
this?
laughing?
We could do this. Okay,
No.
so yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Laughing.
The reason that they're laughing is because this is super duper complicated. You know what a dollar is, right? Y'all used dollars before.
Yeah.
How about Monopoly money? Have you guys ever played Monopoly?
Right?
Okay.
My mom and dad in it.
If you guys went to the store with
okay.
Monopoly money, could you buy anything?
No.
No, you couldn't. Why not?
Because it's fake.
Because it's not real money. There is an agency of the federal government. It's called the Federal Reserve. Okay, the Federal Reserve controls how many dollars are out there. If they just print a bunch of dollars and then they just give you those dollars, it turns out they didn't make you rich. All that happened is that your dollar now doesn't buy as many things. If the Federal Reserve just makes $1,000 and gives it to you and gives it to everybody, you can't buy an ice cream bar with $1 anymore. Now the ice cream bar is going to cost like $1,000.
Yeah, that's just not true and kind of a dumb thing to say. So, okay. Quantitative easing, I think, is just fundamentally, I'm looking into it. Apparently, it's just the idea of like putting more money into the economy, I guess. Let me see if I can look for the definition and have the introduction of new money into the money supply by a central bank. That seems to be what it is. Okay. So, generally speaking, there's somebody. This is very complicated. Generally speaking, the more money that's inside of a market, right? The more money that's in a market, the less the value of the dollar is going to be, right? So, like, yeah, inflation is going to happen with more money in the market. What's really interesting is I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro is the kind of person that believes in like lower interest rates. Like he probably doesn't believe in the federal government raising interest rates, which doesn't really add up to me, because the reason that the federal government raises interest rates is to decentivize you from getting a loan so that there's less money going into the economy. That's kind of the point. Right? So you usually, like, the Fed is increasing interest rates, I think at the end of the year, or in March. I think it is end of the year. I'm fucking stupid. It is the end of the year. March. And the idea is that they're going to make it so that people will be less will not want to take loans out as much because they'll have to pay more money back. Right? That's how to preserve the value of a dollar. And so what I'm trying to say is, like, Ben Shapiro doesn't believe in the idea of that. So it's interesting that he doesn't believe in some kind of wealth redistribution. Like, yeah, if you gave everybody $1,000 a month, if you could pay for it, which you can with UBI, okay, it is actually doable, because it would be like, you would offset like welfare, because it would be like an either or. You'd implement like a value added tax, and it would reduce the cost of a lot of other things would also be reduced. You look into like an Andrew Yang breakdown. I would look into Andrew Yang for it, but you really could pay for it. Like, more people would have more money. Inflation would go up for sure, but it wouldn't absolutely decimate.
Stu tipped $10. Love your papa bean watching.
Hey, thank you so much for the tip, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mwah. It's not going to devastate everything, right? The reality is that the middle class and lower class have drastically have had their wealth drained for such a long time, and that money's been taken and it's been put into, as rich people have it, and they're just hoarding the wealth. Like, there was a time where more people had access to more money and it didn't devastate the economy. People look back to those times as like the golden years of America, where more people had more money to spend, right? Because that's the thing. Poor people, middle class people, they tend to spend their money more because they need to. Rich people take it, they hoard it, and they just try to collect more money. It doesn't really do anything for anybody. But there's also like a concept. This is from my perspective, is, you know, there's so much of the wealth being pushed to the top, and then you have all these rich people holding on to the money, which takes that money out of the economy, which means that there's less money in the economy as it is now. So like, it's a bizarre thing that you're saying that we can't figure out a way to tax a lot of that money and redistribute it. But like, it's already been removed from the market. So isn't that a bad thing? It's like, you have all these fucking millionaires. They're not spending their money. They're holding on to it. They're getting money and then they're holding on to it. That's all they're doing. And it pulls it out of the economy, which means there's less money flowing through the economy anyway. But yeah, no, that's a very, like, you know, the biggest thing you'd have to worry about with a UBI is probably housing. And we need to figure out some kind of a housing solution anyway, because houses are being used as like a long-term returns, which makes no fucking sense. Like, rich people buy houses so that they can have, and you don't just buy a house to have a house. You buy a house so that you can sell it 30 or 40 years from now to make a profit. And I think that's kind of stupid. I think the fundamental concept of that is dumb. And then you also have rich people buying houses, doing really short-term repairs on them, and then like flipping them, and then in 5 years they fall apart and they become a money trap for like middle and lower class people. But it doesn't really make sense. It's the only thing that you buy and then you hope it appreciates in value to sell it. It's really bizarre. It's a really bizarre thing, right? You buy a car. I bought my car for like 17 grand, right? When I sell it, I'm going to sell it for like 10 grand or something, if I can. You sell it for less because you use a particular, you buy a thing, you use it, and it depreciates in value as you get use out of it. But houses are very different, and it's actually very bizarre. And I think it's because there's very limited housing. We have space for more houses. Like, if we wanted to, we could put all homeless people in houses right now. But we couldn't put them in houses necessarily in the area that they're from, because a lot of times housing is very centralized around like work and economic infrastructure. So we could throw them all in like fucking Alaska if we wanted, or somewhere, Nebraska, you know, Ohio, some fucking bullshit state. But there would be no jobs for them to perform, right? So that's the whole thing. And so it's a kind of a limited resource in that capacity, which is one thing that UBI would help solve, because if you put $1,000 a month and give it to everybody, that means that you can have local economies will start to grow because there's a lot of available money. So a bunch of people can move to Ohio. There's a ton of money going into that local economy. Food stores are going to arise, mechanics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, people will buy a used Kia Soul. Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up.
Okay, that's what quantitative easing is.
Can you explain to me the concept of quantitative easing? Go.
I forgot.
So guys, you just learned more than you will in all of college. about how the government works.
Okay.
So one of the questions that I frequently get asked is, how do I talk to my own children about
I swear to God, Ben, if you're going to plug a book or something, I'm going to fucking jump out a window.
conservative values and the things that matter? And my answer
Because the
is,
music shifted. Oh, how did I fucking know? The music shifted, and now it's conserva kids. How the fuck did I know that there was going to be a plug?
is conservative.
You're making the kids not only sit through your bullshit, but now they have to sit through a fucking, basically an advertisement. They have to sit through a commercial. What the fuck, Ben?
Kids. Conserva Kids brings you books like Home of the Brave, for example, in which they discuss things like American values and American history. They're beautifully illustrated, they're really well written, and they have values that you can feel comfortable sharing with your children, which is the most important thing. There's so many forces out there that are
Hey, did you guys have the old Dr. Seuss book with all like the racist caricatures in it? Because I know you were upset that they got rid of those. Can we add that in there?
seeking to twist what kids think. There's so many people out there who want your kids to believe things that they really shouldn't believe, who want to take control of your child's education away from you.
That's what you're doing. You know, I wouldn't want my kids to have your values either. At least not your like economic values and whatnot. Like,
So with Conserva Kids, Conserva Kids is the way that you can teach your kids about the stuff that matters. They
yep. Like boys are boys, girls are girls, and like beat your wife if she gets out of line, bro.
all sorts of beautiful books. They have a great variety, a great selection. Check
Wow, there's a lot of white people in these books, but okay.
them out today at theconservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com.
The Conserva Kids. Oh, like conservatives. Oh. You know what's so funny about this? You know for a fact that the people, the adults, that all the people buying these are boomers. You know, your grandma's gonna get the kid the book, you know? And they're probably sitting here and they're like, oh, do I have to? They're probably spelling like Conserva Kids with capitals. You know what I mean? in the bar. They're probably like, oh, it's not even a secure website, Ben. Are you fucking kidding me? My connection isn't safe on here, Benjamin. Are you fucking kidding me, Benjamin? What the fuck? You can't be using this goddamn bullshit. God damn it, Ben, you piece of shit. You're gonna get me fucking, you're gonna get me doxxed, Benjamin. Shop now. Let's see. $15? That feels like a lot. Or $35 for all three. Why'd you say there was a lot of books? There's three fucking books, Ben. These are all the books. You said there's a lot of books.
Conservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. You get 15% off when you use code 15Ben. Again, they just make great materials. They're safe for all your kids. Not just safe, they're virtuous for you to get for your kids. Theconservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. 15% off with code 15Ben. Okay, go for it.
What do you think about like superstars and athletes talking about politics?
Yeah,
So
what do you think about
everybody in the country gets to talk about whatever they want to talk about, but athletes and superstars generally don't know anything about what they're talking about when it comes to politics. When LeBron James says things, that doesn't mean he knows things.
True, I guess. One of the really interesting things here is like, listen, LeBron James can be annoying, absolutely. One of the interesting things, though, is that every time an athlete speaks up about a personal political issue, they're like, well, you're just an athlete, stay in your lane. But then in the next breath, they'll be like, well, you can do whatever you want. But it's like, you know, Colin Kaepernick was like, hey, black people are a marginalized group, and they're still dealing with struggles. Everybody's like, you're an athlete, shut up and sit down. You're not allowed to talk about stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, come on. Everybody, like, you get upset. Like, I don't want to see it. This is the thing. They're like, I don't want to see it, though. It's like, okay, well, that's why they're doing it, because they want you to see it, right? You can disagree, but this is fucking just so stupid. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing because, like, I don't like the fundamental idea of being like, okay, like, listen, not everybody knows what the fuck they're talking about, 100%. Most people don't. That's okay, though. That's why we have conversations. It's a really good thing. It's very stimulating. But the idea of being like, well, an athlete that has a lot of money, they shouldn't be able to speak on a particular issue, or they should be able to speak, but they're dumb, so don't listen to them. Why is it any different for your average everyday American? If your logic is like people with a lot of money are dumb and they, you know, like fuck them, like that you shouldn't value their opinion because they don't know what they're talking about, then that means that the average American doesn't know what they're talking about either, which is kind of true. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you retract that statement for middle class people? Because rich, poor, we're all dumb. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just feels like a really easy and dishonest way to disengage from valid issues by saying, well, you're not an expert in a particular field. But then haven't we just been doing that for COVID? experts are like, hey, just wear a mask and get your vaccine. And for 2 years, we've been like, no, stop. Fuck the experts. We've been Facebooking it. I know Ben isn't an anti-vaxxer. He actually got the vaccine. He probably thinks it's safe. But every time he says it, instead of saying, I think you should get it, but it's a personal health choice, he says, I got it, but you don't have to get it. And you know what I mean? It's two different things. You should advocate for it without advocating for its absolute a necessity. Like, that's what I say. I haven't vaccinated. You should get vaccinated. But it's your choice. But you should be safe. And if you're not going to get vaccinated, wear a mask and a scuba suit, you know?
Yeah.
Will you ever be a president?
You know?
Yeah, and then, like, if someone agrees with you, if the celebrity agrees with Ben, he's like, that guy's a smarty pants. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Things. That doesn't mean he knows things. Yeah.
Will you ever be a president?
You know, all the presidents are now 100 years old, right? Like, Joe Biden is really, really old. Joe Biden's 79
Shapiro,
years old. I'm 38,
president.
which to you guys seems like super old, right?
Wow.
No?
Ben's going to be a silver fox.
Okay, good. That's true.
My mom's 42. My dad is 48.
I'll wait until my kids are grown up. I would never run for office while I have little kids, because I want to be home with my kids. My kids are super cute. I want to spend, like, a lot of time with them.
When is Ben gonna
All right,
admit?
Ben. I got a little weird at the end. But, okay.
I want to be home with my kids. My kids are super cute.
Okay. All right.
I want to spend, like, a lot of time with them.
All
When
right.
is Ben gonna admit that he's gonna run for president?
If he wanted to be president, he would probably be it tomorrow, but he just talks about it. Raise your hand
This kid's just fucking going in on him.
if you want Trump to be president. That means you as well. I want you to be president.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Why are the people
He's really getting gassed up from these compliments from these kids. Like, they're really making him feel good. It's like, yeah, kids are just unfiltered little assholes, though. The same kids that are like, you should be president, Ben, are the same ones that are like, that probably when he first walked in went, wow, you're so fucking short. Because you guys know how kids are. Wow, kids to me, the first time they see me, like young kids, like, wow, you're really tall and fat. It's like, oh, thanks, bro, for the brutal honesty. You know, that's just what kids do. Unless they're scared of me, I'll walk in there and I fucking like, you gotta go like this to the kids. You know, they get afraid, then they won't talk to you. They're afraid. You know what I'm saying?
angry at the government?
Why are people angry at the government? Because sometimes the government tells us to do stuff the government shouldn't tell us to do.
Do you think homeschooling will ever be banned?
Not in Florida.
Wait, what? What? Do we think that homeschooling will ever be banned? That's so weird. It's just so bizarre. Okay.
So I think that there will be places that try to stop homeschooling. I come from...
It's probably a bit. I mean, like, listen, there's actually an association with being antisocial and having like anxiety and a lot of the new age issues that a lot of young kids are facing. So we shouldn't ban homeschooling, but like it's probably good for people to get out and socialize. You know, they're all homeschooled. If they're all homeschooled, then that girl hates herself. They should ban homeschooling for her. Bunch of fucking nerds, antisocial nerds.
From a state called California,
Oh,
where monsters roam the streets and garbage is
Homeless people are monsters.
strewn everywhere. It's a horror-scape. No, I'm joking. They don't actually have real monsters, but it's a really poorly, the way that they run the state is really bad. So they have lots of crime, they have high taxes.
Like you think there is a monster.
Right, exactly. I came here because Florida is
Could you
amazing,
show
guys.
me?
You're so lucky to be growing up in Florida.
I'm going to Florida, guys. Easter week, Disney bitch. I'm gonna go fucking meet Mickey Mouse. I'm gonna give Minnie Mouse a kiss on the lips, dude. You're homeschooled? I feel bad for you, brother. Hopefully you have brothers and sisters or something.
Florida's amazing.
America is the best, but Florida's
True.
really hot.
America is the best. Objective fact, bro. Objective fact, okay? America is number one. You cannot debate that.
What does the government do?
What does the government do? Okay, so there's various kinds of government. There's your local government, like where you live, and then there's the state government, like the state of Florida, and then there's the federal government. They all do different...
Number one at obesity? You asked me number one on what? Number one for obesity, number one for military spending, number one for healthcare costs. What else do you need to know? America's number one, dude. I don't know what else you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? And we also invented peanut butter, I think. So, number one would peanut butter. So, fuck you, bro.
things. So your local government, they do the police and they do the firefighting. Okay, then there's the state government. The state government decides, for example, how money goes to your local public school, for example, or how taxes get paid and how roads get made and all of that.
Number one for inventing Mickey Mouse. Very good point.
And there's the federal government. The federal government, the Constitution says what the federal government can do. Make sure that there's an army and a navy and an air force and that they are able to protect us against people who would want to attack the United States. That's the biggest thing the federal government does. Yeah.
Do you think Biden actually follows his own law?
I think that Biden kind of makes up the rules as he goes. I don't think, unfortunately, he cares very much about the rules for being president. I think he just tries to do whatever he can do.
I feel like Trump, listen, I'm not super politically inclined anymore. Haven't really been into it. Not super interesting. I feel like Trump was constantly overstepping his boundaries. Constantly. Like, he wanted to, like, fucking... The guy was insane. You're talking about Biden? Biden's not following the rules? What about Trump, bro?
And then he hopes that nobody stops him, which is not a very good way of being president.
Well, Ben, you're a superhero. You should stop him.
That's why the founders were really smart. The founders created a system where there are people who can stop you if you break the rules, which is really important.
And they also let us have black people as slaves. So that was pretty good rules. Not bad.
Do you think China purposefully caused the pandemic?
Do I think what? Bro, this kid should not be homeschooled. He can't fucking speak. I mean, come on, dude. His parents are failing him.
Important.
Do you think China purposefully caused the pandemic?
Oh, do you think that China purposely caused the pandemic? Okay. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I feel like if you think that, it's reasonable, but I don't think that they did. Because, like, it's just, dude, it happened in China. Probably not. They killed a bunch of their own people, apparently, just to try to contain it. And then, you know, I don't know. Shit's fucked up, bro. I don't know, man. It's a little sussy because they're saying, when people are like, oh, maybe it was like bats. It's like, bro, we have bats in fucking Texas. Like, why the fuck isn't there a magical, like, horrible coronavirus in Texas? You know what I'm saying, dude? That's all I'm saying, bro. You know, I think the going theory is that they're trying to work on a way to cure it in a lab or something. I don't know.
I think that China purposefully covered up a pandemic. It probably started in a laboratory in China, and then it got released, and then they pretended that it was not their fault. And
they totally did that. I'll tell you that. Like, I remember listening to some shit on NPR about how, like, there was this doctor trying to help stop it, and like going theory is China might have China might have ordered an Order 66 on them. They might have Order 66 them. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's Star Wars reference. That's when the Emperor gave the command to kill all the Jedi. And yeah, shit's fucked up, man.
They didn't know what was going on, and they lied a lot, and then it got out and killed a lot of people.
Do you think the Supreme Court will overturn Roe versus Wade?
Did she just say, do you think the Supreme Court? Wow, what are these kids, like 6? Jesus, grow up and learn to speak. Am I right, guys?
Wow. I think the Supreme Court will not overturn Roe versus Wade, unfortunately.
Good.
I have a feeling the Supreme Court is going to change the rules of Roe versus Wade, but that doesn't mean they're going to throw it out completely. They're going to do what they always do, and they're going to be confusing about it.
Yeah, most people want abortion to be available, even conservatives. Conservatives usually, like, I think it's like, I don't remember, it's a very high percentage of Americans are actually pro-choice. There's just a lot of people who think that there should be better stipulations, like, oh, within the first trimester or the second trimester. Thing is that conservatives and Republicans, they just take a pro-life stance instantly, and they force people to pick a side.
What's your favorite Democrat?
Wow, that is a difficult question.
I know, right?
Alive? A Democrat who's alive?
We finally...
Right
I want to know what his favorite dead Democrat is. Like Andrew Jackson? Who is it?
now, Joe Manchin. Senator Joe
I don't know if he's a Democrat.
Manchin from West Virginia is my current favorite Democrat. He's preventing Joe Biden from doing a lot of bad things.
Do you think we can have a stable government again?
Wow, what an innocent and very good question.
I mean, I think that the government is still pretty stable, is the truth. We should be grateful to live in a country where the government is this stable. The truth is that if you look at history and if you look at all other countries, there are a lot of countries that really don't have a stable government, and it's really difficult.
One of those reasons, unfortunately, is because America nay-nays their government, and they overthrow their government if they don't do what they want. Look at every third world country. That's interesting though that Ben admitted that we have a pretty stable government. Like, things aren't as divided as it seems. It's very interesting. I still think we need reform. Like, get rid of that two-party system. Am I right, guys?
So lucky
Just make it a one-party system. Elect me as the fucking emperor, and then we could defeat the rest of the countries and we'd win.
to live in this country. We really are.
Then the entire world would be the United States of America. Imagine that, bro. That'd be fucking cool.
So as much as we have problems here in the United States, this is still a fabulous, fabulous country, and we should all really be grateful to live here. And that I guess is the thing that I would say to all you guys. You guys you're gonna live like for a super long time, and you're gonna get to see all sorts of amazing things happen in the country. And the most important thing to remember is the harder you work, the better your life is going to be. The better the decisions you make, the more responsible you are, the more you help other people, the better your life is gonna be.
I wonder how many progressives watched this and at that point had a fucking meltdown. Like, honestly, I wonder how many people like listen to that and they're like, no, because he's telling you that the harder you work, the better, like, you know, the harder you work, the better you're going to perform in the United States. How many like progressives watch this video? Like, because that one kid, I saw the clip, I think, because somebody sent this to me, but I remember seeing a clip yesterday of like of that kid like saying something about to Ben, and it was like, oh, he dunked on him. It was kind of funny. So I wonder how many progressives are like, no, that's not true. You can't just work here. This meritocracy doesn't exist. What are you talking about? If you do work hard and you make good choices, like, yeah, you're actually going to most likely perform better. It doesn't mean everybody has the access to doing those things, but like, yeah, those are true. It's very interesting, the conversation we have about picking yourself up by your bootstraps, where we say that's completely incorrect and nobody can do that. I think a lot of people can do that. I think that people don't have the right resources to do that. I also think that it's not even a matter of whether you can or can't. It's whether it's worth it or not. You know, there's so many things there. Like, for instance, if you live in like a really low income area, let's say like on welfare, I'm just gonna make up numbers, you would get $10,000 a year. But if you decided to come off welfare, maybe you could work up to making $12,000 a year. Do you think that it's going to be worth it because your investment barely has any returns? Probably not. Like, there's a lot of different aspects there. But like, yeah, generally speaking, it's good advice to work hard and you can pick yourself up. And like, you generally will be able to, especially since most people are a lot of times like depressed and in situations where they feel like they can't do anything. We do also have an issue with wealth redistribution. There's technology displacing jobs. There's so many different things, but it's still good advice to work hard because you're going to have a higher chance of succeeding in life if you work hard. So we shouldn't be pushing one narrative over the other. It should be, everybody should have work hard and have good work ethic, but then also we need to deal with like a class issue at the same time.
In this country, which is the best country in the world, if you make great decisions, you're going to have an unbelievably awesome life. You're going to make a huge difference in the world, and you can make the world a better place.
What the hell is she wearing? Leopard print? Who the fuck gave her those clothes?
What's that thing on your head?
Oh, good question. Okay, so this is a yarmulke. Jews and Christians believe in the same God. We just have slightly different beliefs about the kind of stuff that we have to do that God says that we have to do. Right. So what this means is that Orthodox Jews who keep a lot of commandments, we keep this on our head, right? In the Bible, when it talks about the Israelites, that's the Jews. So the Jews eventually, now we're their descendants. So we keep the yarmulke on our head to remind us that God is around us at all times, so we should make good decisions, basically. All right.
Listen, all I'm going to say, bro, is that if I was trying to wear a symbol that God was always around us, it wouldn't be a hat. Okay? And the reason I say that, okay, is because, like, when you put it on your head, you're going to forget about it. Especially if it's a small hat. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, oh, I put my hat on. I don't know what the fuck else is going on around me. Makes sense to me. I would think that you're better off wearing, like, something painful. Maybe like a chastity belt for a man, you know, a cock cage would be a really good way to constantly remember that God is around us. Or like a butt plug. Something uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It would make a lot more sense. Also, how would I wear a yarmulke? I'm bald as fuck. Hey, listen, you saying hell no, but it's a fucking hat. You're not going to remember that God's everywhere. He's going to be like, where's God? Oh, I can't even see him. He's on my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, I mean, you know, you shouldn't be looking at your pants in public. So you can't see it, but crown of thorns, maybe. Maybe cut a finger off. Or wear a shock collar so that anytime you like breathe in or out, it gives you a low frequency shock. Something like that. Just something like memorable. You know? Circumcision. Oof, good point. That's true. I got one of those. You don't think about it anymore, though. I don't know.
Alrighty, guys. Well, you can go like enjoy your day now because it's all over. So you're good. Thank you, guys. It's great to meet all of you.
Bye, Ben. Fuck you.
If you want to take some of these kids home,
I have 3 of my own, so more children in my house. No, they've got parents. I feel like their parents should keep them.
which is tougher, talking to kids about government or explaining government to Democrats?
Oh, by far, it's more difficult to explain government to Democrats because
why does this guy's mic suck balls?
they're so certain about the things that they know, and those things are just wrong. Whereas kids just don't know things, and you can actually explain them to them.
Are you more or less hopeful for the future?
I'm way more hopeful for the future than before I did this, because those kids are smarter than the people that we have in Congress currently.
I only came today because I thought Knowles was gonna be here.
That kid's a cuck, bro. You thought Michael Knowles was gonna be there, so you wanted to go?